Oh, hey there. We're back again. We're back, 10 minutes after we finished the previous stream. Again, just for full disclosure, we didn't know we were going to do the stream for Missouri, Mississippi State. We thought we were going
We
to
did
put
not.
that into the stream after Auburn Ole Miss. Sometimes we try to package the games together on Saturdays because we know we got a lot of them. But we were watching this, and as it played out, we're like, we got no choice. We got to do this for the Missouri fans because what an unbelievable performance from the Tigers, who were 6.5-point underdogs, I think, in this game on the road. They went 88-61 at a top 15 team in Mississippi State. They just went on the road in SEC play, a tough thing to do, and won by 27 points against the top 15 team. It's been that kind of day in SEC basketball. Tennessee blows out Florida, shorthanded. Missouri goes on the road, hammers Mississippi State, and Caleb Grill, once again, the shining star here, with the guy, 20 points, 6 of 11 from 3, just an absolute flamethrower right now. And Max, you know where I'm going to start in this game, just like you knew where I was going to start after Tennessee, Florida. I'm going to start with the 3-point numbers.
Yep.
Because I told you, I thought it was one of those weird sort of trends for Mississippi State in that if you looked at all their losses, we pointed out the numbers, right? And it was absurd to see how some of the teams had been shooting against them from 3. We mentioned 12 of 22 for Butler, 55%. Kentucky shot 16 of 32 against them, 50%. Auburn shot 42% against them, 10 of 24. 10 of 28 for Tennessee, 36% for Tennessee. That's pretty good. Then Alabama, 15 of 31 for 48%. Of course, Mississippi State lost all those games. Now, today, add the number to it. 15 of 32 for 47%. That is wild. Just a wild stat.
You want to know what's wild? I'll show you wild. I will show you guys wild. Look at this 3. Go. Look at this 3. It's not going to have sound, I don't think, but just look at this. Are you kidding me?
That's how you know it's your day right there. But it's just a normal day for Caleb Grill. It's not even a special day. That's just a normal day for the man. So,
he is
look at that.
At the eye in Mississippi.
No fear. And look, you got 4 seconds on the shot clock here, and you're thinking, you know what? I could maybe take a couple dribbles and still get a shot off before the buzzer, or I could just shoot it from half court. I know what I'm doing, right? If I'm Caleb Grill, I'm just shooting it from half court. So,
ridiculous.
Yeah, once again,
ridiculous.
We all know that I had to do my part in picking the Missouri Tigers after you and Chris went the Mississippi State route. Yes, Tyler. Again, there are levels to this picks game here. I'm willing to give up a loss for the Tigers. But, yeah, that was just nuts. Shout out Joshua. 9.99 on the Super Chat. I know Joshua was excited that I picked Missouri. Not always a fan whenever I pick against them or when I do pick them in the kiss of death scenarios at Southeastern 16. So we did our part here. But, it's not – I don't even know – we were kind of laughing about this, but it's where do you even start? When you have a result like this, right?
And it'd be one thing if it was at Missouri. And it was oh, man,
right.
you catch Mississippi State kind of sleeping after a close one, an emotional game. You catch them kind of sleepwalking on the road. This was at Mississippi State. Teams don't go into there and do this.
No.
You can look at Mississippi State's home record from last year even also. Even their home losses this year was 4 points to Alabama, 5 points to Kentucky. You want to go back to last year, their home losses. Overtime to Carolina, 2 points to Kentucky, 8 points to Alabama, 1 point to Georgia Tech. Or to Southern. Sorry, that was the weird Southern game.
That was a Southern
game,
still,
the largest deficit at home was 8 points the past 2 years. Teams don't go in there and do that.
Well, we talk about Caleb Grill, and obviously we could talk about him all day long. I mentioned yesterday, the box plus minus, we were talking about the games. He's number 1 in the SEC so far. in conference play. That's going to continue. And I mean, in the country, he's top probably 3 or 4 now, I would think. Yeah, I mean, look, and Sam, we always like the series history, and I didn't point it out because it didn't play into my pick. But I mean, yeah, they had not won a lot in Starkville, and not a lot of teams do, right? I mean, a lot of teams probably coming through Starkville with a losing record over the past little while because of everything Max just mentioned. But you go beyond this, and this is where we try to talk about depth about 15 minutes ago on the other stream. Missouri, the depth is not even a question anymore. I mean, this. Tell me if I'm wrong, Max. And I know there will be somebody who comes in and say, well, you're forgetting about this or that. They're the deepest team in the SEC.
Yeah. They're one of the deepest teams in the nation.
I think that, like, and it's not, sure, like, we can point out all the contributions and other teams, and, we talked about the depth for Auburn, and, if Kentucky's at full strength, I think Kentucky would be in there. Alabama's depth we talked about, but, like, look at what they're doing. They continually play this many guys, and, and it feels like they're getting a little bit of something out of everybody, and it doesn't have to be, look, our guy Joey Dwyer yesterday, Missouri fans, if you want to read it, I'm going to find this for you right now because it's so ironic that Joey wrote the story yesterday and talked to Josh Gray. And the whole basis of the story was that Josh Gray is embracing his role on this Missouri team, knowing how many people, I'm putting it in the chat for you guys right now if you want to check it out, but knowing how many people are, playing certain roles, right? And you don't, if you're a Josh Gray, you don't have to be the double-digit scorer. Well, guess what? Josh Gray said, hang on a second. I'm a double-digit scorer today, baby, because he gets the double-double, right? But just everything that these guys are doing right now and how many different guys they have chipping in here or there. They've got the mindset of the team. And I know you're like, oh, come on, that's just like coach speak or something. But it's true. Like, they are the ultimate team. And we talked about that before, even in like the post-game interviews. You get the whole team. Gates is doing the stuff on the SEC Network, the broadcast, the whole team standing. Like, those are the kind of things I'm telling you, you cannot place a value on in terms of like stats or anything like that. Those are the intangibles that can get a team a very, very long way in March. And right now, it's getting them a very long way in the toughest conference in the country, one of the toughest conferences in the history of college basketball. And Missouri is sitting here neck and neck at the top with teams like Alabama and Auburn.
You want to talk about stats, Blake? Let's talk stats for a second.
Hang on, Max. Let's get an official ruling here.
An official ruling is in. Yeah, that might even be above a blowout.
Yeah. All right.
Josh Gray, first career double-double. Come on. What else do you want to say? How about this, Blake? How about this? I challenge everybody, all the viewers, challenge anyone watching live, or if you're watching after live as a video, I challenge you guys to go back into the summer, try to find a media outlet that had Missouri in their preseason basketball top 10. I challenge you to go find one. Go find a media outlet or individual media person that had Missouri in the top 10 in the preseason, other than yours truly, because that's exactly what we had. So, just want to say, we didn't have them top 5.
We didn't have them third. We didn't have them third, I'll tell you that. We didn't, but we had them top 10.
We had them, yeah. We did. So, there you have it. Caleb Grill is a game changer. He's such a game changer that he just makes the other defense throw out the entire game plan. Just ball it up, toss it out. We got a guy that's 5 of 5 from 3 in the first 10 minutes. We got to change what we're doing. They didn't even get to the free throw line. What do we say every single game for Missouri?
No.
It's the thing they do the best. They just went on the road to Starkville, crushed them without leaning on their number one attribute, getting to the free throw line. Can win in multiple ways, can win away from home, can win at home.
Yeah. I mean, it's like you win the 3-point battle. You win the rebounding battle, which is something else, too, that I think is worth noting in a game like this. You don't lose the turnover battle. Both teams had 11. But it's just, it again, it goes back to, like, what they're doing and just the overall contributions they're getting from everyone. Like, I think it's, again, it's the unselfishness of a team like this where it's making that extra pass for that good shot, right? And I think you saw that in this game, but it's like we said, you're making the extra pass to Caleb Grill from the logo, and that's considered a good shot for this Missouri team right now. And so, I mean, I think this is definitely something where you look at it from this standpoint, and yes, as Richard says here, I mean, if anyone's doubting at this point, I don't know what to tell you. You've not been watching the games because this team is, I mean, they're top 15 good right now. And we don't care about the AP poll really, but it is something I know that means something to certain teams, and as it should, because this was a team, as we mentioned, and a complete turnaround this season from what they did last year. We've made the talk about the revenge tour and all that. Like, the revenge tour is, I mean, they're miles and miles down the road at this point. They're halfway across the country on the tour. They're doing the encore, the back-to-backs. Like, they're doing the thing right now. And so, yeah, I mean, just another, like we said, great win for Missouri. I mean, they're 6-2 in the SEC, and we talked about the important. It's so interesting. Right after they lost that game against Texas, we're like, Ole Miss at home, Mississippi State on the road, then at Tennessee, home against A&M. Oh boy, like, this is the kind of stretch that could break a team, right? I mean, it can break a team in a year like this. They win both those games. They beat Ole Miss at home by 8. They go on the road, beat Mississippi State by 27. Now they head into Tennessee on Wednesday for a huge game against the Vols. And I know some people are talking about in the chat. I don't remember who it was. You can throw it back in here if you want. But I think Missouri's a tough matchup for Tennessee because, and we'll preview the game going into the next week. But I do understand some of the sentiment about, that's kind of the way it works when you look at these matchups between these two teams. So, no doubt about it. All right, quickly, I'm going to address this in the chat before we forget about it. The 270 videos, the reverse Southeastern 16 jinx. Yep.
Yep.
You know how it works here. Jake's going to go the opposite direction. He's going to say, please keep picking against Missouri every week like you always do. We're the doubters. Jake, here's all I'm going to say. Go back, watch a couple videos, see a certain trend that's continuing here when it comes to who's actually doubting Missouri. All right, let's just make that perfectly clear here. We can let Sam, Tyler, others weigh in on our pick strategy and what we're trying to do and what we try to accomplish, some of us. Max, none of us would have hidden agendas, I don't think, right? But
no, of course not.
Just saying. So
here's something interesting. So Torvik has not updated after this game. So these numbers are going to be kind of less than what they should be. But when you filter Torvik to show data just from December 1st, so I'm going a perfect and even 2 months, they're 16th in the nation over the past 2 months without the data from this past game. So that might even shoot them into the top 10 because they were favored to lose by like 3-4, and you have this much of a difference. Certainly a top 12-ish team in the nation over the past 2 months. No argument.
Yeah. No, there's no question. Like we said, I think when you just look at the wins they've compiled, and look, we talked about it too with Missouri. The thing was that the non-conference strength of schedule was what it was, right? And that's what we said. Like, coming into SEC play, it was going to be a matter of how teams like Missouri, Vanderbilt, Texas, Oklahoma, teams like that you looked at their non-conference strength of schedule and you said, all right, if you compared it to, which is the extreme, but if you're comparing it to Alabama and Auburn and teams like that, like, it was just much different. Kentucky, another one of those teams. It was going to be, how do you handle the grind of the SEC, right? And just how are you going to navigate a schedule like this? And that's why I think once you saw Missouri go out, win that game like they did at Florida, and you're thinking, all right, Caleb Grill go off at any time. And like we brought up, we're like, hey, they played Auburn closer than anybody else had. Maybe that accounts for something up until Tennessee, of course. But, so I just, and now you go win a game like this. Like you said, they're a top 10 team in the country since December over the past 2 months. And it's just, it's wild. So, but.
Another thing, just real quickly, because I know we have probably out of the 650 people in here right now. Probably 600 are Mizzou. Just real
so.
quickly on Mississippi State moving forward, they need a consistent third option besides Hubbard and Murphy. The offense is just too hot and cold. It's like, when's the last time we saw Mississippi State do what they were doing in like December, when it was just like they'd get a lead and they just put their foot down, stomp on you, and it's a 20-point lead. I mean, that hasn't happened since January 4th, opening up league play against South Carolina. That feels like it was 2 years ago right now. No. So the Clary injury, we've been harping on it, but you can't dismiss it when it's been affecting them this much. There's just, it's a little bit of putting Cam Matthews in a position that he's not used to being in. He's had his highest assist numbers, but that's taken him out of his kind of cutting, slashing off ball role that he had. So Mississippi State, we've been saying a few times, Blake, as we get on here and we do a reaction, this team lost, but I still liked what I saw and I feel good about them moving forward. I don't know right now. I'm a little bit worried with the path that Mississippi State is going towards.
Yeah, and I think this one, it's more concerning coming out of this one just because of the way they lost, right? Yeah. That's definitely the case here. And so the other ones we talked about earlier, like the other ones were okay. You can justify some of those and say, all right, well, come on, that's just, you're going to lose some of those games like that. But now it's like, you're looking at a team who is 4-5 in the SEC. They've lost 5 of their last 7 games against good teams, but this one, as we said, was just a complete one-sided game at home, and that's the concern. Now they go to Georgia next Saturday. They get the week off, maybe try to regroup a little bit, go to Georgia. Then they got a home game against Florida, at Ole Miss after that, home against A&M, back-to-back road games at Oklahoma and Alabama. Like, that 6-game stretch right there is going to define the rest of their season, because the final stretch, LSU at home, Texas at home, at Arkansas, those are all games I think Mississippi State could very well be favored in. But this upcoming 6-game stretch here, coming off of this kind of performance, it's an interesting spot. Like, this is where, I'm sure if you're Chris Jans, like, this is where that response from your team, if you want to see a response after getting embarrassed at home, it's going to be, you definitely want to see that. Now you get a week off to try to regroup. So, like, you can't even get the bad taste out of your mouth on a Tuesday or Wednesday. Like, you got to wait a whole week now and then come out and play a tricky game like that where you have to, go on the road and play a Georgia team that's had a lot of success at home this season. So, it's a tough spot for Mississippi State, I think, coming out of this one.
Missouri was a 7 on Lenardi's update from Friday. I would believe that is now, at worst, a 6.
Yeah, they're probably either the first or second 6 seed, I would think. And we talked about that. There you go. Perfect timing, Tyler. The ceiling now, because remember, we had that conversation the other day, and I mentioned people on Twitter were asking, like, what can they get to? Well, I think if you go on the road now and win by 27, like, that's where, and I know Matt Harris brought it up, the predictive metrics now, all of a sudden, are going to be in love. Like, they are just going to be gaga over Missouri. Because they now...
just up 7 spots in KenPom.
Yeah. See? So it's like, that's why I think that ceiling now goes... And it's, again, like it or not, it's how you win, too. How you win matters. And so, by winning this game as dominant as they did, like, they will move up to, like, I think you're saying, what's their ceiling? I mean, they can get to a 4 now, probably. I mean, if they're playing like this, they can absolutely get to a 4. So, yeah. So, I mean, it's a long look. We're going to be realistic here, too. Like, it's a long season to go still. There's still a lot of games to be played. We're not even to the halfway mark yet. That'll come on Wednesday after the Tennessee game. That'll be 9 games in for Missouri. But, yeah, like, if you're talking about it right now, this is where building your resume, the good wins, there are very few bad losses in the SEC. And so, yeah, so like that, Missouri's done the work to this point. So,
yeah, and you think and you look at some of the options that they'll have to fall back, and it's like maybe if you sleepwalk through that home game against South Carolina. But other than that, you're not going to you're up there now. Like you're at 23rd in KenPom just from 30th. I would be surprised if they find themselves below 30th for the rest of the year now.
Yeah.
Like I don't think there's much room to fall back. Just plenty of opportunities to advance.
Yeah, and that's what we said. They were one of the teams that they picked up the great win against Kansas in non-conference play, and we said now you just have to start stacking wins like that because there weren't a lot of other opportunities like that in non-conference play for Missouri. And so, so like I think it's one of those scenarios now where you've banked all these good wins here at Florida, home against Ole Miss, now just a dominant win at Mississippi State. I mean, my goodness, they go win at Tennessee on Wednesday. Like, come on. Like, it's just, I mean, this team has been remarkable, 17-4. And yeah, Caleb Grill, think about that. In any other year, like Caleb Grill, SEC Player of the Year type performances, right? I mean, realistically. So it's just a year where you got Broome as a National Player of the Year and all this kind of stuff, but it's just, it's wild. So, yeah. So.
Caleb Grill right now has the number 7 offensive rating in the nation on KenPom, which is just bananas. In conference play right now, through how many games here? 8 games. Through 8 games, he's 26 of 55 from 3, shooting 47%. 26 threes in 8 games on 47%. What am I even reading right now?
This is nuts, isn't it? Wow. That's just like entertainment for sure. No question about it. That this guy provides.
One more thing, because we have talked about this game for 22 minutes now.
Uh-oh.
One more.
By the way, hold on. Before you say that, Dylan Cardwell just raised the arms up at the crowd. So Auburn is about to turn this up to another level. He's hulking up.
Cardwell celebration. What's that score at right now?
Auburn's up 8 now after the Cardwell dunk. So
got him right where we want him. What I was gonna say was, it's February, by the way. First time been able to say that. Jeez.
It is February. Yeah.
That's crazy. As we enter February, and it seems like every single team is just dropping like flies. This guy's injured, that guy's injured, this guy's injured. Missouri they don't have Trent Burns, but I don't really think he was ever in the plan for this year. They've got 12 guys all healthy. No one else probably in the nation has that right now going for them. So,
yeah,
they're not going anywhere.
Yeah. All right, let's get to some quick chats on the way out here. Tyler, the Missouri basketball account is going to use some clips in your predictions again. Listen, I did have to fill in the Missouri basketball account of my way of how I approach picks. That they understand. They know what I'm up to. Now these other 2 guys I can't speak for, but they know my game when I'm making picks for Missouri. They know what I'm trying to achieve. Philip, by the way, said that Missouri fan from Southern Missouri, been a fan for over 40 years. The best he's ever seen this team play.
Nice.
Listen, when you go on the road and win by 27 against the top 15 team, probably not a lot of those kind of moments throughout the year in terms of just a dominant performance like that. So, hey, that's good stuff. So, Richard, we appreciate the nice words, Richard. Hit the like button, everyone. It takes 2 seconds. Hit that like button. We appreciate Richard always joining in on this. Mama Bear's back. Yep, I know. I've been saying it. Missouri's legit. Yep. You were first on board maybe for that way back when the season started. All in on the Tigers, as you should be. Eric just wants me to say it. He wants me to say it. But I try to be unbiased here, except when it comes to what I try to accomplish with the picks. So, anyways. All right, guys, what else you got? We're going to hop off here shortly because guess what? You're going to see us again after this Auburn Ole Miss game because these were just, you know what? I actually don't hate the way it fell today because you had the 3 huge games just staggered in the first, 3 hours, 4 hours of the day. And obviously we'll talk about everything else tonight on the Primetime Reaction Show, which will be a little bit later. So Missouri fans, if you want to come back, we'll be talking about that game tonight after the Kentucky-Arkansas game. So it will be a late night here at Southeastern 16. Oh yeah, Richard. There's no doubt. Dennis Gates, coach of the
No
year.
doubt.
Discussion. There's no question. I think right now, look, if you're filing a vote right now, it's either Bruce Pearl or Dennis Gates. And I think we've seen when it comes to the Coach of the Year award in the SEC, it's usually who is the guy that either turned the program around,
Yes,
or it's not always just the guy that finishes first. Although I've made my point that in a year like this, with Auburn being what they are, now this is, of course, they lose today. People knock them a little bit. But, you got to say Bruce Pearl's in the conversation. I mean, come on, how could you not?
come on.
But if you also look at it and say, all right, Missouri last year, we know what happened. Now look where they are. I mean, we're talking, again, we've been sitting here talking top 4 seed in the NCAA tournament. Then I think you can certainly make that argument that Gates is your front runner right now. In terms of the way it works for the SEC's official award, I don't think there's maybe even any question about that. But so we'll see.
We did get an update from Torvik. The numbers are in. Over the past 2 months, Missouri is the number 13 team in the nation. A .0001. That's the algorithm number it kicks out for their total ranking. .0001 away from being 11th. They're right there, guys. I mean, give me a break. This is a top 10 team in the nation over the past 2 months.
Yep. That's it. Hey, we'll see where we rank them in the power rankings this week. We know what you guys think, where they should be. I have a pretty good idea of where they're going to be in the power rankings this week, and we'll see. It's a composite ranking, as we know. All right, yeah, I know Richard also meant, I mean, like Mark Byington's in there, absolutely. We talked about Mark Pope. I think it's just when you consider where Missouri finished last year, I think Gates is your front runner now. But remember, we still got half an SEC season to go. Things will change, and we'll see how it goes. So, all right. What are the numbers? Oh, everybody's predicting the numbers for the power rankings. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, wait a second, I forgot what I said. All right.
What would be? Here's a question, Missouri fans. What would be the lowest you would rank them without being like, these guys don't know what they're talking about? Because we've been behind Missouri more than the national media has. What would we rank them that you would be like, I'm never watching you guys again. I'm unsubscribing. Because we'll give them their credit, but what would be like, this is blasphemy? See 5 or 6, 4 or 5. Imagine just talking, even just in November, Blake, and being on a live stream and being, hey, Missouri fans, what could we rank you guys as low? What would be the lowest we could rank you guys where you wouldn't flip out? And 5 is the answer.
Mm-hmm.
What a time. What a time.
What a time. All right. Speaking of time, we're going to go watch the second half of Auburn and Ole Miss because we're going to do a stream after that, too.
What's the score?
It's a 4-point lead for Auburn right now. Max has got a lot riding on this. The picks lead, everything on the line here for Max when it comes to this. But shout out to Eric again. Yeah, we appreciate the kind words. We have our fun here. And I joke because I know there are a lot of new people who will come in after certain games and they'll be here for the first time or the second couple. We have our own little inside jokes when it comes to picks and those kind of things. Everyone knows I'm the longtime Dennis Gates guy. Like when Gates got hired, I was like out there Jon Snow style in Game of Thrones where I'm like just waiting on everybody to attack me for saying that Dennis Gates was a great hire. And so it's just kind of been a long-running thing we do here. And so when I try to put the Southeastern 16 anti-kiss of death on Missouri, I know not everyone gets it, but we have our fun with it. So
we do.
Anyways, so all right, hit the subscribe
What's the rest
button.
of the day? Rest of the day.
Oh, who knows at this point? We may be live after every game. we may just go live after every single game today. We are going to go live. Winter is coming, Brian says. We're going to go live after this Auburn Ole Miss game. So that'll probably be another 45 minutes, well, maybe 2.5 hours, depending on how many replays, reviews there are. The light's flickering, Nicholas. Sorry. It's just because I have a screen on up here. So like it goes on and off because the screen it's dark. So it'll kind of go on and off. But we're going to go live after this next game. Auburn's pushed it out to 9.
Don't tell me
live
that.
after this one. Watch along tonight, Kentucky, Arkansas. If you're a member of the It Just Means More tier here at Southeastern 16, you can watch with us the game tonight, Kentucky and Arkansas. I'm going to drop the link for you guys. If you want to sign up, $3.99 a month. That's all it is. We have hundreds of members now who jump in, watch the game with us live. We talk about it the entire game. So you can jump in and do that. I'll put the link in on the chat for you guys. You can join. That's our watch-along game for the week, Kentucky, Arkansas, primetime. And then we go live after that game, too, for the primetime reaction show. It's going to be late in Max Barr's world, but probably 10:30 Central maybe. We're going live for the primetime show, where we wrap up the entire day in SEC basketball. My goodness, what a day. Have a day, SEC basketball. Yeah, Skylar says it may be 3 a.m.,
Get the diet sodas ready. Get the diet sodas going.
Get the Diet Summit or whatever it is Max is drinking over there. Probably not even regulated by the whatever.
The Aldi brand. It's like $1 cheaper than the real stuff.
Don, no, I haven't lost the heat. The power's flickering. That's not what's happening. But yeah, we'll be back with you guys. But before we hop off, I got to tell you something real quick though. We're talking about Missouri's NCAA tournament hopes.
Yes.
You know what I think of when I think of Missouri's NCAA tournament hopes, Max?
Where are you going with this?
You know what I think of? I think of Bracketbids.
I had a
because if I want to enter the best possible, experience for my March when it comes to the brackets,
yes,
and I'm going to take Missouri all the way to the Final Four, I can do that at Bracketbids because you're not just filling out a bracket, you're taking your college hoops experience to the next level with Bracketbids. You can enter into the free Pick'em contest or start an auction draft league with your friends, family, or coworkers. We're going to start one. We're telling you right now, we're going to have a contest. Everyone starts with the same bidding dollars, but it's up to you to outwit and outbid your league mates to secure the teams you think will go the distance. Could it be Missouri? Could it be Auburn? Could it be Alabama? Could it be any other SEC team? Probably so. Choose from multiple scoring models, including upset bonuses to reward bold picks. Track the teams with live in-game scoring and watch the standings shift in real time. Further your team's advance, the higher you climb the standings for league play. Here's what you got to do. Use that promo code SE16, SE16 for 40% off. Download the Bracketbids app today or visit bracketbids.com. There you go.
You want to know if it just means more?
Does it?
Around these parts. Leanne here, noted Cats fan, is going to be up at 2 a.m. her time to watch.
Well, hold on.
Cats Hawks.
Because Leanne also left a comment earlier. I thought I snagged here, but I don't think I did. So I need to try to find it in the chat. It was something about the Southeastern 16 Kiss of Death. Here it is. So I know we're talking about Missouri, but who do we pick to win Arkansas, Kentucky? Because any more Kisses of Death, got two little dolls named Black and Max. I was about to say Black and Makes. I like this is how you know we've done so many live streams. Blake and Max, that's our names. Not Black and Makes. Some really sharp needles on these dolls. She's like, I'm joking. Or is she? We don't know. So for our sakes, we need Kentucky probably to come through tonight with the win. So anyways. Jim, who wrote the article on Josh Gray? That was Joey Dwyer. Joey, tremendous contributor here at Southeastern 16.
Stuff.
That's great stuff. Hope you guys enjoy it. Southeastern16.com. Check it out. All right, we're hopping off. We got to watch Auburn, Ole Miss the rest of the way. We'll be back as soon as this game is over, and then you'll get a break from us until later tonight. We appreciate you guys watching. We'll talk to you soon. Southeastern 16.